Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee out here in the hot sun today harvesting my tomatoes. Want to take you guys in and show you how to make old-fashioned tomato juice. I have the old-fashioned strainer that I use to process these tomatoes. But anyway, you guys stick around. I'm going to show you guys how to can tomato juice. And here are my tomatoes that I'm going to use for my tomato juice. One good thing about tomato juice is it doesn't matter what kind of tomatoes they are. They all work good for juice. These are all tomatoes that I started from seed. There's several different varieties in here that I'm using today. Here in the house, getting set up here to make my tomato juice. I got my tomatoes floating here in some water so I can give them one final cleaning. I have between half and 3/4 of a bushel to start with. When you're making tomato juice, it's a little over about 3 pounds of tomatoes per quart for what your yield is going to be. It's one way that you can estimate about how many jars you're going to need. Got my old school canning bowl here that I use for all my canning projects. I got my jars here all washed and clean, kind of on standby. And then this is the main tool that I'm going to use for making my tomato juice. This is the old school sieve. Sits on legs here. It's kind of a stamped cone that's got holes in it. What I'll do is I'm going to heat up my tomatoes after I got them quartered up here and mashed up a little bit. I'm going to put them inside this, and then I'm going to use this to run them through the sieve, and this just goes around in a circle just like so. Another thing that I got here is I got my big stock pots. If you're into preparedness and canning and that kind of thing, you're going to need a couple of stock pots to heat your stuff up to fill into your jars. Anyway, this is kind of the inside crew here, what I got. Now I'm going to take you outside. I'm going to show you the outside crew that I have set up. And here is my outside canning crew. Of course, I got my hot water bath canner right there, and I got my tank of propane. And this is an old turkey fryer burner that I've scavenged and put together to use specifically for canning. It works really good as a platform for that large canner. That large canner gets pretty heavy when it's full of water, and quart cans full of fruit or vegetables, whatever I'm doing. But it's pretty basic setup, and it's a good way to, if you got a turkey fryer, it's a good way to multi-purpose your stuff. And I always try to keep a little bit extra propane around specifically for off-grid canning like what I'm doing today. This is a large batch what I'm doing, so I don't want to heat up the whole house. Doing multiple batches, I can do just 1 or 2 batches outside here, and it's a lot quicker. Alright, I'm going to show you guys how I process these tomatoes. It's real simple. All you do is take a sharp paring knife. You're going to cut the core out. And if there's any bad spots in the tomato, you're going to cut them out. And all you're going to do is just divide it up and put them into your stock pot like this so you can heat them up. If they're a larger tomato, you're going to cut them in several pieces. If they're a smaller tomato, just cut it in half is fine. Even cherry tomatoes, you don't even really have to cut them. You can just throw those in. Alright, I got my tomatoes all cut up. They're in the stock pot here, and I'm just heating them kind of on medium-low until the tomatoes release their liquid. Now I'm taking my liquid and my kind of crushed tomatoes that I have here, and I'm adding them into my strainer sieve, just like so. And what you do is you take this plunger and you press down just like so, and then you rotate it around the cone, and as you can see here, it's taking the harder chunks out, the seeds out, the skins out, and it's giving me a juice that I got down here in my canning bowl. If you want a redder juice, you can actually throw a diced up red beet into it. It's not going to change the flavor, but it's going to give you a darker juice. I know some people would like a darker juice, so that's one way that you can naturally do that. When I got this all sieved through here and I got my juice ready, I'm going to take this juice and I'm going to reheat it back into the stock pot until I get it almost to boiling, and then I'm going to fill it into my clean jars with a half a teaspoon of non-iodized salt into each can before I hot water bath it. Here is my tomato juice after I've run my heated tomatoes through my sieve. You can see there's a couple of tomato seeds that snuck through the sieve, but that's alright. If I'd want to filter those out, I could run this juice through some cheesecloth, but I'm not going to do that because this juice is going to be used mostly for recipes like chili or tomato rice, that kind of thing. So those few seeds aren't going to bother those recipes whatsoever. I'm in the second heating now, so I'm going to heat this tomato juice back up so it can be filled into the jars so it can go into the hot water bath canner. I have also added a quarter cup of lemon juice into this to boost the acidity. That's going to make the tomato juice last longer and give it a brighter color when it's in the jars. So when I start filling this into the cans, I'm going to show you what that looks like as well, and we're going to get this out in the hot water bath canner. Alright, I'm getting ready to put my heated juice into my quart cans. I put a half a teaspoon of kosher salt into each quart can. Remember, you got to use a non-iodized salt when you're canning so it doesn't discolor your final product. I'm going to use my large measuring cup here to scoop out my juice. And then we're going to pour some into the jar, just like so. You want about a half an inch head space. Show you about what that looks like right there. Now I'm going to take my damp paper towel here, wipe my lid and the inside here clean. You don't want any food on there to contaminate the seal. Get my lid on top here, tighten down my rim, but not too tight. You just want it good and firm. Now it's ready to head out for the hot water bath. Here are my quart cans in my hot water bath canner. You can see it's starting to heat up here, but it's not quite to a full boil yet. When it gets to a full boil, we're going to put our lid on and we're going to set our timer. One thing I want to show you real quick here, you can see I got some re-rod on my burner here. Re-rod's kind of a good thing to have around when you do off-grid cooking like this. Now, if I had an odd-shaped pot or something that wouldn't sit on there level on my burner, I could add those pieces of re-rod, boost that up a little bit, and make a more solid platform for whatever it was that I'm cooking. When this gets to a full rolling boil, I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes, and I'm going to put my lid on, and I'm going to let it simmer. 40 minutes is what quarts of tomato juice have to process in a hot water bath canner. When I'm all finished canning these guys up, I got a couple of canners worth here to do. I'm going to do a little bit of a follow-up and show you what the finished product looks like. Well, the second batch is in the canner, starting to heat up, and this is what the first batch looks like. Give you an idea there of the color of the juice. Just kind of show you guys what it looks like. I'm going to let them set out here on the table out here in the yard until they seal up, and then we'll move them into the house, and then we won't disturb them for 24 hours so they can
settle. Anyway, I just wanted to do this video on old-fashioned tomato juice and how to can it for you guys. Tomato juice to me tastes like summer. That's why I like it so much. Anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys are getting a little information, a little entertainment out of my videos, and you guys have a great day.